Tonight, we're going to a dangerous area of an Amazon account so we can understand the relationship between humans and PPC campaigns. Crikey! Take a look at this.
We're face to face with a hard-hitting predator. And oh boy, this keyword means business. Its toxic venom can lead to hundreds of clicks without conversion. One bite, and it can leave you paralyzed with high ACOS for weeks.
Now, these predators won't be mucking with us. We've got the biggest predator on our side, the ad badger. Oi, easy boy.
And we're here to help you tame these beasts in the jungles of Amazon PPC.
What's going on, Badger Nation? It's Mike and Steven, and you're listening to the PPC Den podcast, the world's first Amazon advertising podcast, and your source for all the tips, tricks, and optimization strategies you need to grow your Amazon ads.
And you can join thousands of listeners and get bonus content at adbadger.com/podcasts.
You know, Tom Cruise, he said, you know his famous word, Steven? He said, I feel the need for speed. So I'm going to name some fast things. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
The cheetah, fastest land animal. Usain Bolt, fastest sprinter. You want to know what else is really fast? What we're about to talk about today. Activities to lower your ACOS quickly. So these are we're going to be sharing some of the 3 quickest ways to bring down your ACOS using bulk operations files. So 3 strategies, super fast. Steven, how would you rate those speed facts that I dropped here?
Well, I don't know if you have the information in front of you, but I wanted to know the miles per hour of each of those guys. Thought that would be interesting. Is that on whatever you're looking at?
Super great question.
Is Usain Bolt faster than a cheetah?
I'm going to go with yes.
Wow.
You know, I bet if they both started off at the starting blocks and you said go at the same time, cheetah's just going to run around. Usain's going to hit the finish line way before that cheetah.
That's true.
That is correct. Yes. So this is a topic that I think is really, really cool because a lot of times in the flurry of optimization strategies, and there are so many optimization strategies. It's funny. Somebody asked me today, what do you do inside of an account? And my response was well, it's a combination of the last 98 episodes that we published about Amazon PPC strategy.
Right.
So there's so many things out there that we wanted to give something that's a little bit quick, fast, just quick way to attack your campaigns that are pretty much going to work across the board, regardless of your campaign structure or your ASIN composition. If you've got hundreds of ASINs or 10 or thousands, this is a really neat strategy. So bulk files, Stephen, we've talked about bulk files a couple times on the show. We talk a lot about spreadsheets. Good Amazon PPC marketers often use a lot of spreadsheets, and that I think it's still an edge. If you're really good at Excel, it allows you to see campaigns in a way that others do not, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, and even if you're not a huge Excel nerd and you don't, even if you don't know how to do, what were we talking about the other episode? We were talking about VLOOKUP versus XLOOKUP and pivot tables and all that stuff. This is super simple stuff, doesn't require any of that. These steps are just as simple as just, applying a filter and, sorting and filtering. So real easy stuff here that anybody can do. So whether, you're managing your own small business, whether you're managing your own big business, or whether you're an agency or freelancer, this is just, applicable to everyone. So real easy, quick steps here.
Yes. So just in case, even if you've never done bulk files before in your life, we're actually going to walk through the steps here now. So if you're driving in your car or you're making dinner or walking your dog while listening to this show, we're going to lay things out And you can, of course, play this on YouTube or on your podcast app of choice and sort of play it and pause it while you're at your desk. But even if you're not at your desk, I just want to walk you through the actual process to get to the things that we're going to be talking about, because it's actually really simple. So bulk operations files, if you've never used them, all you have to do is, if you're using advertising.amazon.com, the ad console, which I do believe almost everyone is at this point, all you're going to do is click it's actually called a hamburger menu in the top left of the screen, where you can see campaigns, stores, posts, reports, and right underneath that is bulk operations. And then once you click that, you'll be prompted with some quick settings, and all you have to do is select a date range of what data you want pumped in there. We can comment about what date range people should probably select in a second, Stephen. And then it'll ask you to exclude some things. You can generally roll with some of the defaults. I do like to keep in placement data, so I do not check that box. And then you can click Create Spreadsheet for Download. So, Stephen, when we're talking about doing some of these 3 quick optimizations, and someone's opening up their account and they're going to advertising.amazon.com, and they're going to their bulk operations file, they're first prompted with that date range. Mm-hmm. Any good guidelines for how to, people sitting out there thinking, what date range should I pick for this bulk file and these 3 quick optimizations we're about to talk about?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I do want to clarify that this podcast episode is about how to quickly lower your ACOS using bulk operations, not how to quickly increase your sales. So what we're mainly focusing on here is, cutting out wasted ad spend, or reducing wasted ad spend, reducing ACOS, without necessarily trying to grow sales. We're trying to cut out spend without having a negative impact on sales. So we're not trying to, we could do another episode where we talk about how to quickly, get a little sales boost using bulk operations another time. But this one's just about trying to refine everything. So for something like this, I pretty regularly like to just use a 30-day time window, unless if you have seen a small, spike, say in the last week or the last 2 weeks, and all of a sudden your spend jumped and your ACOS plummet or spiked as well. If you see something like that, then a 7-day, 14-day time window might be applicable. But usually I'm just going with a 30-day time frame and doing these quick changes, every once in a while.
Right. So we've got episodes on time delay in terms of optimization time frame. So doing it, pulling things just for today and making a whole bunch of decisions based off just 1 day's worth of data. And of course, there's an attribution delay too. So generally 30 days is a good place to start here. So you grab your 30 days of data and you click Create Spreadsheet for Download. So far, all we've done is just click on bulk operations, change the date from the default it lists yesterday to 30 days, and we create the spreadsheet for download. And then once you open that up, you're going to be looking at a world of information. And if you've never opened it up before, essentially what you're looking at is your entire account visualized on a spreadsheet. And you will see the IDs of everything, the campaign names of everything. Every single nook and cranny of your account will be listed out here. So you can see where this is going now. Instead of the way that you would normally navigate through Amazon, like campaign by campaign into an ad group, look at the keywords of the ad group, the big fundamental difference, if you've never done this before, is that you can now see every single campaign, ad group, ad, keyword, so on and so forth in your entire account, all on the same spreadsheet. So this is some pretty powerful stuff. Being able to see everything is powerful. So already we're focusing a little bit on speed. So think about how long it would take you to go into Amazon and create new tabs for all your campaigns and all your ad groups. And if you have dozens and hundreds of these, you would run out of browser memory before you'd be able to do all that. So this allows you to see everything really quick, really simple in a single spreadsheet. So we're going a little faster, Stephen. And now that we have this open and you could see all the data, you could see all the things, we can kind of see where this is going. So the first thing that we have on our list to quickly lower ACOS is to remove bad ads. So basically remove bad product ads. Now, when we're looking at our spreadsheet, Stephen, how do we actually just go in and do this? How do we find these things that should probably get removed?
Yeah, so what you're going to do is you'll see on that second column it says record type, and it is basically saying for all of these different rows in this spreadsheet, every single row represents a different item in your account. That item could be a campaign, it could be an ad group, it could be a product, it could be a campaign by placement setting, it could be a keyword, it could be a product target, it could be a lot of things. So what we first want to do is we're just going to apply a filter here. You'll see on the on the top of your Excel sheet, you'll see on the right side, there's a little add filter thing. We're just going to add filters, and then under the record type column, we're just going to filter out so we're only looking at the ad type, record type. So yeah, you just uncheck everything else so you're only looking at the ads, and now you've selected all of your ads. So if you've got one product, for example, that is in multiple ad groups or in multiple campaigns, you're going to see that ad appearing as different items, different basically line items, because you'll see one ad record type for that ASIN in one campaign, and then you'll see another separate column for in a separate campaign. So it does have a different record for every product ad depending on how many campaigns and ad groups it's in. They're all kind of treated separately because, as you can imagine, if you've got one in a keyword that's bidding on, if you have two single keyword campaigns, for example, and you've got the same product in each of those campaigns, each of those products for those campaigns is going to have different levels of click data, different sales, everything like that. So you're going to see those broken out as two separate ads on the bulk sheet there.
Yeah, exactly. So already, we've been talking seriously about the techniques for this episode after my fun facts about fast things on the planet for only a couple of minutes now. And we've already done something pretty darn fast. We downloaded a bulk file. We put that filter on that second column to only view our product ads. And even if you just like you mentioned, even with just one product ad, if you want to see how that one product ad was doing across 5 ad groups using the default interface inside Amazon, it would take you 5 tabs. It would take you probably at least, even just for one product across 5 ad groups, you're looking at probably a couple minutes. Whereas this, you just download it, you throw a filter on, and boom, now you're able to see all of that all on one spreadsheet. And this is, of course, where it gets really exciting. So, I've got a bulk sheet in front of me with about 50 campaigns. So when I filter down the ad, now I can see the different ads, the different products across 50 campaigns, and then I can see all their levels of performance here. So what is my next move now that I'm able to see how my product ads are performing across my entire account?
So the next thing that you're going to want to do, now that you're filtered out only for ads, you're going to want to sort all of these ads by highest ACOS to lowest ACOS. So you can do that pretty easily just by jumping over to the ACOS column, and you click that little arrow, and you're able to actually sort it. If you sort it in descending order, that'll work. One thing I do want to point out is that Amazon, this is probably the only hurdle / tricky step with bulk operations if you're new to it. I don't know why Amazon does this. I'm guessing just for making the file sizes smaller, but every single number in there, so whether it's ACOS, whether it's number of clicks, number of dollars of ad spend, all of these items Amazon stores as a text, meaning the Excel sheet won't recognize these as percentages because it's stored as text. If you sort in descending order, sometimes it'll say, do you want to sort A to Z, Z to A, and try to sort them alphabetically, because which will technically still work. Like if you sorted alphabetically, it would still kind of fall in line, but you wouldn't be able to say only show me things with greater than 50% ACOS, because it's reading this as if it's a text. It's not reading it as a number. So you can really quickly fix that. Just highlight any column, hit data, and then just hit text to columns. You'll see that under the data tab, and then you can convert those texts to columns, to data columns, and then everything will work out. So that's the one hurdle, the one tricky step. We have some videos on our website kind of walking you through that you can check out sometime. But once you do that, you want to sort by highest ACOS. And Mike, what are you going to do once you get to that step?
So it's a really cool moment here once we get to this list, right? I've been following along on my screen and I've got it sorted here. And I can see that I've got a product ad, the most expensive one is 99% ACOS, 70% ACOS, 61% ACOS. And I can definitely say that, over 50% for this particular situation is just going to be way too much. And then I can sort of look at this product and I actually see this product is actually doing quite well in other places. In some spots I've got, 3%, 5, 7, 15% ACOS. So it's not the product, it's just this particular placement. And because I'm looking for a quick win, if I were to just basically pause this product in this ad group, and I can sort of see it, okay, it's some kind of keyword-based campaign, and it's just sort of not working here. So I just know that it's just not working. I can't have things over 50%. So what I can do is basically grab this information. And this is really neat because I can basically manipulate this spreadsheet and re-upload it in a new format. So I can see this and it's got sort of, you can see columns in here. The column is enabled, the ad group is enabled, and the status of this product ad is enabled. Now the question will become well, I don't want this to be enabled anymore. So it's really, really simple to just change that word enabled to paused, and then I will have paused this product ad. And then I'll write the word paused, and then I will re-upload this to Amazon, and it will make those changes for me, which is really, really nice. So that is generally the first way to quickly attack a high ACOS. Download all your products, sort it by product ads in terms of ACOS, and then just flip that status from enabled to paused, re-upload it, and some simple, that's pretty quick, Stephen.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I do think is important to point out is that when you do sort by highest ACOS, say you see something that has 100% ACOS and you're like, oh man, I got to pause this right now. One of the things that I always look at is I always want to look at how many clicks it got and what the CPC is. Now, these spreadsheets that you download aren't going to have a CPC column. You kind of have to custom create one by inserting a new column. I just insert it right after, so that it goes, there's a clicks column, there's a spend column, and an orders column. And between spend and orders, I'll just insert a column, title it CPC, and then just do the formula, spend divided by clicks and get my CPCs there. Because if the ACOS is extremely high on this product and it has a $10 CPC, the solution might not be to pause this item, but to just pull back on the keyword bids for this item. So we're going to talk about that. That's actually step 3, which is actually adjusting some bids real quickly. But let's just say that it does have over 100 clicks and just one sale, and that's way, way far below what your average conversion rate is. Then those are going to be good candidates to start archiving. So yeah, I sort by in descending order from highest ACOS. I look at the ones that are getting tons and tons of clicks and not a lot of orders, and they likely have extremely low conversion rates. And those are just products that aren't converting well. So we're just going to go through and pause those. Another thing that I would specify is that let's just say your target ACOS was 40% and you're seeing some that have 50%, 60% ACOS. We're not going to want to pause or archive those because we can actually just reduce the bids on the keywords in that ad group, which again will be step 3 here, to help pull that ACOS down. What you're looking for is the items that have insanely low conversion rates, like double or triple, 2 times or 3 times worse than what your average is. And for those items, you're usually going to see your ACOS is going to be over 100% for those items. So you're going to want to jump through there, pause and archive those. And then after that, you'll want to do one more thing, because there's one other catch here that sorting by highest ACOS to lowest ACOS isn't going to catch for you. And that is all of the product ads with hundreds of dollars of spend, perhaps thousands, with no sales. If they had no sales and they got $1,000 of clicks and no sales, they're not going to have an ACOS, so it wouldn't have shown up on your radar there when you did that filter or when you sorted by ACOS. So, we're going to do this one more time where we're now going to apply, or we're going to sort in descending order of highest spend to lowest spend. And then we're going to throw on one more filter that just says, hey, only show me the items with 0 orders or $0 in sales. You could do either one. It accomplishes the same thing. And then you can do the exact same thing, look through there, any item that has, 2 times or 3 times or 4 times more clicks than it takes you on average to get a conversion, we're just going to pause those ads because they're not converting, they're not performing well. I mean, I do this all the time for clients that just have, thousands of SKUs. Let's say it's like a Merch by Amazon account and they've got tons and tons of products, and all these different designs. Sometimes some designs just don't work, they don't sell, and we just gotta nuke them. Just kill the ad, cut that spend. We spent 100 clicks on it, $100 on it. It's not getting any sales. We're just gonna stop. We're gonna stop trying. You got to know when to cut your losses.
Right. And even if you've got even if you don't have thousands of SKUs inside your account and maybe you only have 4 or 5, you still might ultimately one day end up with an account where you might have a product in many different places. You might have your 5 products in 5 different places. So you've got 25 rows here. And if you want a quick way to analyze how these products are performing across the board, and this is why it's so important to properly label your campaign names, which saves so much time, because when you're looking at your bulk sheet, it'll actually say in your campaign name, which you've named so well, it'll say the type of product, it'll say the type of campaign, it'll have your ACOS target, it'll have any other notes that you have in there specifying additional information, which is why it's so important. Always work on your campaign naming and your ad group naming to be sure you know exactly what's in there, because it'll save you mountains of trouble later, in terms of analysis time. So to recap what we've done, we've got that list of all the product ads. We sorted by ACOS. We found some big offenders, and obviously, just having a high ACOS really isn't enough. You want to be sure it's got enough data to be confident that it is actually performing poorly. And then we threw another filter on to find things that just haven't converted at all, but are accruing some spend. And then you can basically just change that status, from enabled to paused. You can even download a bulk file template if you want to copy it out of here and put it into another one to have a cleaner sheet. You could do that too. And then you just re-upload that. So that is a super quick way to just get a quick glimpse into how your product ads are performing, take some quick action, and let's jump into the next thing, which is pausing and archiving bad keywords and bad product targets.
So step 2 is actually going to be exactly like step 1, exact same things we just did, only this time in the second column, the record type column, rather than filtering out for keywords, for ads, we're going to filter out for 2 items, keywords and product targets. So we're going to be trying to pick those 2 items. That is going to ensure that the only records and items that we're seeing on our spreadsheet now are either manual keyword targeting, manual product targeting or category targeting, and that will also pick up auto campaigns. The auto campaigns come in the form of the record type for those is product targeting, and then the match type will be either close match, loose match. That's how they will appear. And then ASIN targeting is obviously going to show the ASIN target, and keyword targeting the keyword as well as the match type. So so that is what we're going to do here. And it's going to be the exact same step, look very similar to what we just did. We're going to first sort by highest ACOS. We're going to take a look at these. What are the keywords or product targets with the highest ACOS? Being able to see all your targets at once is incredibly valuable, and being able to make changes there. And again, we're gonna double check the CPCs on anything with a high ACOS. If the CPC is crazy, then maybe we just need to reduce the bids, which will be step 3. If we're seeing that it's getting just hundreds of clicks and just one sale, and that's why the ACOS is so high, that because the conversion rate is super low, then we're gonna want to pause or archive those. Another thing also that I just thought about, I mentioned that you could add a column that was called a CPC column. Sometimes what I'll do as well is I'll add a conversion rate column. So I'll just add a column, type in CVR, and then I just type in the formula. It is orders divided by clicks. And then, that'll just help me do a quick glance at the conversion rate of all of these keyword targets, and anything that's 2 or 3 times worse than my average will just be, removed. And some of you might be wondering, if you are an AdBadger user and you're like, well, I have a negative keyword tool that already does that for me. A lot of negative keyword tools, they do it off the search term reports. There may be a couple of for auto campaigns, there could be a loose match, like a loose match, keyword product targeting thing that, or I guess auto targeting thing that has like a 1% or 0.5% conversion rate. It's just not, that auto targeting option just is not performing. And so we just want to pause that and stop throwing money at that auto targeting thing. And it's not necessarily that there's any, you can't like negate loose match, right? It's just that it's pulling on, it's probably getting thousands of different types of search terms. No single search term is something that is gonna, you're gonna find in your search term report that is a good negative keyword candidate. You just have to pause this target, like this wide shotgun approach target. We gotta pause that. So yeah, anything with crazy high ACOS, crazy low conversion rates, we're just gonna go in there and pause or archive those. But I will say one more time, you know, if your target ACOS is like 40% and you're seeing something with an 80% ACOS, I might hold off on pausing or archiving that, because what we can do is if we can just cut those bids in half and still get some visibility for that without wasting money on it. So again, that's going to be step 3. But you know, we're mainly looking for the items with over 100% ACOS, over 200% ACOS, anything with just crazy low conversion rates. That's everything we're going to be pausing.
Yeah, you know, these first 2 strategies that we talked about, where you jump in, you pause your bad ads, and then you pause your really bad keywords and product targets, it's a quick way to find those bad offenders, like the ones that just obviously like should be taken out of the game. It's like, listen, you've had your shot, you've had 75 clicks, I'm still at, 200% ACOS, you're just not going to work out for me. And, you know, eventually over time, you do develop this judgment call as to sort of say, like, do I give it a little bit more time, or do I lower the bid, or do I take it out of the game? And again, it almost becomes a sixth sense in a way as you start optimizing campaigns longer and you get to know your campaigns longer. A good rule of thumb, we've mentioned it a couple times here, even on this episode, like, as soon as something hits your average and it hasn't converted, it's like you might still want to leave that in. But as soon as something goes 3 times or over your average, so if you're generally converting, this is why adding the conversion rate column is super duper helpful. So if you're generally converting and you're looking around, you're like, I generally convert at, every 10 clicks at a 10% conversion rate. But all of a sudden something's at like 30 clicks without a conversion. That's already 3 times worse than your average, even if it were to get a conversion. So that's where you can start to sort of say like, this player, he needs to be iced for a little bit, taken out of the game. And what's cool about these are quick optimizations you can do with bulk operations files. You can always put it back in the game later if it comes up again. You can always, what's cool about this is you're making a spreadsheet. There will be a record of this. So you can always save the file and revisit it once you get your ACOS where you want it. So these are quick things to really chop down, to exterminate these high ACOS bugs that might be infecting your account. So, there's a lot more to say about when should you pause something or when should you bid optimize it. But this is quick ACOS attacking some of the worst offenders of your account. So step 2 was to pause or archive these misbehaving keywords and product targets. Again, super duper quick. There are very few ways to be able to view all of your keywords and your product targets across your entire account at once, and bulk operations files is one of them. Anything else to say about step 2? Viewing your keywords and pausing them? I think that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, and just a reminder, you want to do both. Look at the ones with the highest ACOS and look at the items with the highest spend and no sales, so that you don't miss those big spenders that don't have an ACOS yet. And that is just a fast way to cut. Oh, one other thing here. I always like to, and for both of these items, you can look at, the ad group name, which ad group it's in that column will be filled out for each of these ads. You do want to exercise a little bit of, human insight and intuition here when you're making these changes. When I'm doing these, I don't just go through and be like, all right, anything over 100% ACOS,
right.
Pause archive. I definitely want to do a little bit more of investigation here, because it could be that like, oh, this is actually coming from our, top of search only super aggressive targeting campaign where we're intentionally trying to just win the top of search to help our BSR. Yep. Or, oh, this one's actually bidding on the super competitive keyword, which we're, okay with. Or, oh, this is actually bidding on our competitors' keywords and we have lifetime value here, so we actually really want to win this. So use your brain.
Throw those
right?
and you want to know what? Potentially make life easy and structure your campaigns so you don't even have to use your brain. If you were to label those things going into it, like the super competitive top of search one, if you had that written down in the campaign name, you would just see it and be like, whoa, this ACOS is really alarming. Oh, that's why it's so high, because I'm trying to go really aggressive. Or, oh, I'm launching. I even wrote in there in my campaign title, 100, because I have 100% target ACOS here. So that's where you can actually save some time by labeling those campaigns. It's not just something we say because we're crazy. It actually saves you time.
Yeah. That's what I do as well. For some of our clients that have goals like that, super aggressive goals, I'll just filter out for the campaign column. I'll be like, hey, exclude any keywords with the campaign title SK, which is our single keyword campaigns. Because, I'm excluding those from these changes and just trying to capture everything else.
We still might be crazy though.
So yeah.
For other reasons.
Well, with that, let's jump into step 3.
Alrighty, so we've trimmed out the super high ACOS problem product ads. Then we trimmed out the super high ACOS misbehaving keywords and product targets. Now we can attack bids on things that just aren't converting well. So these would be keywords and product targets, colloquially. Well, what is that? How do you pronounce that word? Colloquially? Yes, known as. Yes, exactly. As targets at this point, as sort of there's a shift from calling them keywords and product targets to just lumping all these together as targets. So you're looking at your keywords and targets, and you are basically going to be doing a very similar thing, except this time, instead of pausing them, we're going to be changing the bids on the keywords and the product targets. So again, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be sorting by high ACOS. We're going to be seeing the things that are high ACOS. And then what we can do is calculate a new bid inside the spreadsheet. Now, a super simple way to do this, again, we've talked a lot about a super simple bid strategy, is to take your revenue per click for that keyword and multiply it by your target ACOS. Now, the issue is target ACOS and revenue per click are not columns that come with your bulk file. These are columns that you're going to be adding. So it's super simple to just right click your column and do insert. And then you literally just write down target ACOS, in that column header. Now, don't worry, we're not going to, Amazon's not going to get confused later. And then all we're going to do is just put down our target ACOS. If it's 30%, we write 30%. And then we're going to obviously format that as a percent. And then the next thing we're going to do is calculate our revenue per click. So for that, we're just going to take, I always like to throw the word sum in there because I am a crazy person. You don't actually need to. You can just write equals, your sales divide over your clicks. Now we have our revenue per click. You can format that as $1. So in this particular example, when I did that, I added 30% and then my revenue per click was $125. So I need a column now for basically my new bid. And then I would just calculate those two and I would just multiply the revenue per click by the target ACOS. And I can basically have a new bid and the cool thing about Excel, you can just drag this down the line. So you can have a new revenue per click based bid, which is, let's get real, it's going to be more reliable than just sort of guessing at your bid, like just cutting it in half or, turning it into 20 cents or something like that. You're actually using your real revenue per click, which is a real metric that's reliable based off the keyword's history. You're multiplying that by the target ACOS, getting you mathematically really where you want to get to. And that allows you to have a new bid for potentially dozens or hundreds, or in some cases, thousands of keywords in a jiffy, in a really short amount of time. So that is really neat that you're able to do this in a spreadsheet.
Yeah. And, there's a few different ways you could calculate things. Revenue per click times target ACOS. You could also just do target ACOS divided by current ACOS times current cost per click. Just a few things that you can do. And, one more thing that we, do want to say, just like with steps 1 and step 2, you're not just sorting by highest ACOS. You also want to sort by highest spend and no sales. And, with step 2, that was looking for candidates to maybe start pausing or archiving. But, maybe you're seeing some items that have, 10, 15, 20 clicks, or let's just say 10, 15 clicks. And, pretty high CPCs, quite a bit of spend, but no sales yet. And so they might have been on your highest spend, like, whoa, this one already spent $30 and got 15 clicks. And you want to pause it because $30 is a lot, but also it's only 15 clicks, and, maybe you average 10 to 20 clicks per conversion. You just don't normally spend $30. So this would be a good one to just like reduce the bid. So something else that I'll do sometimes is just be like, hey, anything between, 10 and 20 clicks with no sales, I'm just going to reduce all of those bids by like, 10, 15%. And then items that get over 20 clicks and no sales, those are going to be, potential pause archive candidates. So, reduce those bids on the items that have high ACOS, but not so crazy high or not so low conversion rates that you need to actually archive them. You still want to give them a fighting chance to maybe get some more cheaper sales that are affordable for you. And yeah, there you have it.
And those are 3 things that you could do today with a bulk file. And hopefully we've structured this episode in a way that inspires everyone out there to, if you've never used bulk files, you should be able to now, because it's really not that intimidating. And these are 3 very simple ways to get started with bulk files. And really the benefit of seeing everything in your account is so powerful. It will change the way that you think about PPC campaigns. It is like you are, in the Olympics and you've got a jetpack on, because all of a sudden you see, no longer are you sort of, playing checkers or playing chess at this point, because you're able to just move so much faster. And it does give you that, it gives you kind of like a superpower to see your campaigns like this. I remember, I remember many times, Stephen, we would be optimizing campaigns, and really, really big, gigantic campaigns. And we just spent a lot of time looking at the bulk file, playing around with it, getting it where we wanted to. Let's move this over here. Let's run this filter, add this column. I want to see this analysis. So these 3 things are really some of the building blocks of more advanced things that you might want to do with a bulk file. So we love them. They're great. And, again, I think it's one of the most powerful things that you can do inside your PPC campaigns.
Yeah. And, it took us a while, like, how long was this been? I don't know, probably 40-ish minutes. We usually go 40 minutes. It took us about 40 minutes to describe all this, but, once you've done it a couple times, it could take you 10 minutes to do it. Download the last 30 days, apply the filters for ads, high ACOS, blah, 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 pause, archive, switch to keywords, pause, archive, reduce a few bids, boom, upload, you're done. And you basically just removed all your worst performers, right? Your worst ads, your worst keywords, you removed them. And then some keywords that, were maybe spending a little bit too much, we reduced the bids on them. Hopefully that shouldn't have impacted any sales, at least not a noticeable amount, but you can easily chop out thousands of dollars of spend just doing that. So There you go. 10 minutes, reduce that ACOS. Boom.
Yes. And I have some ideas about other things to do with bulk files, some ideas on potentially even speeding these kinds of things up even further, which I'll probably be posting inside the Facebook group over the coming weeks. So if you're not in our Facebook group, conversation's been ramping up. Just go to adbadger.com/Facebook, where we'll be talking about these things. It's actually really cool, Stephen, because, at one point in time we had like a forum and a Facebook group, and sort of, our attention was split between the 2 of them. But I've been spending a lot more time in the Facebook group. We actually got rid of the forum. It's all about the Facebook group now, and it's really cool. I have really been enjoying it. So I've got some more ideas on bulk files, which we'll probably be talking about over there when we post this episode in the Facebook group when this episode comes out. But a lot of cool stuff with bulk files. And really, I think the goal for me on this episode was to give you, dear listener, if you have never used bulk files or even opened one up, I hope this has encouraged you to do so. I'll probably be sending this episode to people as like a getting started, a primer for bulk files, because it really, really does give you a level of confidence inside your campaigns in a way that I don't think you can get unless you have done it before. So this is a really nice entry point into bulk files.
Boom. There you have it, guys.
Yes. And with that, we will see you next time here on the PPC Den podcast. Bum, ba-da-da.
Peace.
That's my outro music. Bum, ba-da-da.